Hello everyone, or should I say, hola a todos. Don't worry, that was all the Spanish I know. Welcome to Iberian Sun, my second ever YouTube series, a football manager save played on Google Stadia. Now today's video is all about introduction, so I'm gonna show you the setting of the save. We're gonna go over some rules and some goals that I've set for myself, and of course we are meeting the very first team I am going to manage. That being said, who is up for an epic FM20 adventure? Roll intro. First of all, let me show you the rules of this save. Now, as you have probably noticed already, we are set in Spain and Portugal, aka the Iberian Peninsula. I know technically a small part of France and Gibraltar and Andorra, I think, are also included in that peninsula geographically, but I'm just gonna focus on Spain and Portugal just to keep it clear for everyone. That means I can only manage clubs in those two countries in whatever league, and as far as national teams go, I am also limited to Spain or Portugal. Now another thing I really want to mention is two things actually. I'm only going to sign scouted players, so I'm not going to use the player search functionality. I think in the beginning, spoiler, we are starting in a very low league in Portugal. We don't even have scouts, so the only thing I can really do is ask for recommended signings at my staff. Same goes for the staff itself, so I can only sign recommended staff or place an advert if I, for example, want a new scout. I put an advert out there and whoever applies. I'm not going to use the staff search functionality. Now I guess you can qualify these series under the Road to Glory and maybe the Journeyman categories, but I'm not going to limit myself too much. What I mean by that is I am allowing myself to switch jobs whenever I desire. And by switching jobs I of course mean apply for jobs, not just add manager done. But I'm not going to say, oh, I have to spend a minimum of 1 year or 2 years at each club, or I can only move clubs if the reputation difference, blah blah blah. I'm not going to do that since I am already geographically limited. So please give me some freedom to do this properly. Now one very last thing that I want to mention here, the save ends if A, we win the Champions League with the club, or B, we win an international cup with the national team. So that can be, preferably be, the World Cup, but it can also mean the European Cup, and I don't know if there are other, the Nations Cup or whatever. We'll see where it leads us, but that's basically the rule. The save ends in those two scenarios. So let's get a little bit closer to the game. As I mentioned in the intro, I am playing Football Manager on Google Stadia. If you're not familiar with that, this is what it looks like. It's simply in my web browser, Google Chrome, and I have a Stadia account, of course. I have a Stadia Pro account. That is why I already have quite some games, most of which, as you can see here, I got for free. I think the only ones I actually bought were Red Dead Redemption 2, Trials Rising, The Division because it was that cheap. Also, once again, because I had some discount being on a Stadia Pro subscription. And of course, Football Manager. Now, I'm not gonna do a Google Stadia review thing. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments and I will answer them as much and as good as possible. That being said, if you at any point enjoy this video, please leave me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Football Manager content. Let's get into the game. First of all, let me elaborate a bit on my title. Iberian Sun, of course we are playing in the Iberian Peninsula, so that makes sense, I hope. But it's also a little homage to this game I used to play around 20 years ago. I know, I'm old, I'm 37, I'll let you decide how old that is. But if you don't know it, check the description, there is a link, because apparently you can still play it online, so who knew? Now let's have a look at the club we will be starting this series in. We go down to Portugal, to the lowest playable league, at least in the standard database, PT Championship Group B, to a little club called Lusitania La Rosa. Now you might ask, why this club? Very good question, and the answer is down in the description. I have left a link to a website that lists all the clubs in the game who have a sugar daddy as a chairman. Now what does that mean? That means that our chairman will pump money into our club bank account in random points in the game just because he can. I am going to use that money, at least I'm going to try and use that money, to expand our stadium, to improve our facilities, basically to make this club a Portuguese, hopefully European superpower. I mean, we'll probably move clubs because I can't see us winning the Champions League with this club, but I think we can go pretty far. Only one way to find out, let's dive into the game. Here we go, Lusitania La Rosa hire Leyodemus as the club's new manager. Eyebrows have been raised, blah blah blah, 36, thank you so much, but it's 37 at this point. Let's have a look, 1.8k a week. He replaced his previous manager, Rui Quinta. I am so sorry, Rui, had to be done. Then I also noticed that last year they just missed promotion, so I am guessing they are expecting us to do some damage in that lower Portuguese league. Not that much to mention really, we have a 2-star reputation. These are all lower league achievements, so no biggie. Last season though, they finished second in the PT Championship B, where we of course still are in today. They have an 8,000 capacity stadium, built in 1900, oh god. Things are falling apart, and they have good training facilities and good youth facilities, and a fairly basic youth recruitment. Very important stuff to be upgrading should we want to get somewhere with this club. Let's have a look at the club vision. Develop players using the club's youth system. Don't mind if I do. Grow the club's reputation, work within wage budget. Pretty standard stuff. End of current season, challenge for the championship. Okay. And reach the 4th round in the Portuguese Cup. Let's have a look where they want us to be in 5 years. Okay. Within 5 years, basically they want us to be in the top tier league in Portugal. I'll try. Now before we head into the squad, let's first, because we have a sugar daddy chairman, have a look at our finances. As you can see, we have a £4 million overall balance, a 1.2 and something million pound transfer budget, and a wage budget of around £17,000 a week, which we are spending a quarter of at this moment. So we have some room to mingle in the transfer market. We also have some room to hire some extra staff because as you can see, we don't even have a single scout and only one physio. So I have put out adverts for a chief scout, a regular scout, maybe even a data analyst. I'll have a look into that, and an extra physio. Let's meet the squad. I have sorted the squad by current ability star rating wise, of course, and as you can see in the center of the midfield and the attacking midfielder position, we are actually quite good. We also have this loanee on loan from Gil Vicente, Leo Cordero, Brazilian guy, 23 years old, advanced playmaker. I think he is considered, if I look at his value compared to the others, he is considered to be the star player for this season. If we have a look at the team report, you can see that this guy, Goba Zakpa, is both our best right winger and our best striker. He is, of course, backed up by Julio Alves in the striker position. In midfield, especially the center of midfield, we are very strong, like I mentioned, so no biggie there. I think I'm going to look for a star left winger though, and mainly my focus in this transfer window is on the defense, because as you can see, apart from Henrique, who is our star defender, 32-year-old Portuguese guy, but apart from him, the wingbacks is pretty poor. 2.5-star ability at max at both sides. So this is my main focus, probably an extra central defender, but mainly some extra and some better wingbacks. As far as keepers go, I think 3-star current ability, 26-year-old sweeper keeper, which I always use. I think we are quite safe there. The last thing that I want you guys to see before I head into my preseason shenanigans is that the Portugal Championship consists of 4 separate groups. 18 teams in each group. If we have a look at the rules, the top 2 teams for each group proceed to a quarterfinal after the regular season. Those winners proceed, of course, to a semi-final, and I think, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, that each team that reaches the final, so both winners of this semi-final, win promotion to the second league, which is a regular league as we know it. I'm hoping that's correct. Like I said, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So guys, one last thing for me to do in this episode. I am going to play through the preseason. I'm not going to show you every trial list I bring in or whatever. I'm just going to come back at the end of the preseason, do a quick overview of all the transfers, players and staff, and I think at that point we can wrap up this episode. It is the beginning of August, so the preseason is still very much in effect. I did sign some players already. I will show you those in a moment. Meanwhile, our chairman has decided, being a sugar daddy and all, that it is time for his first cash injection into the club. A whopping 10 million guacamoles. That means our finances look like this. An overall balance of more than 14 million pounds. It didn't affect our transfer budget that much, but this is still quite good. And the wage budget is basically the same story. A lot sooner than I expected, but very welcome. Now another thing I wanted to show you, the amount of leaks I have loaded, and as you can see there are quite some leaks that I have loaded into this save. Computer performance, of course we are on Google's hardware because we're playing on Google Stadia, so superb, although I would expect 5 stars Google, come on. An estimated game speed though of 1.5 stars. Now to be honest, I have the feeling that even though it says 1.5 stars and it says slow, things are going pretty smooth compared to should I be running this on the local version of Football Manager on my laptop. That being said, we have a player count of around 104,000, so a lot of scouting to do. So the preseason is over. The first game is today, but we're not going to play into this episode. What I am going to show you as a final touch is the transfers that I did within the club. For starters, these are still guys that I'm working on, so it's not sure that they're going to join our team yet. But this is a 26-year-old Colombian sweeper keeper who is just a little bit better than the keeper we now have, so it wouldn't hurt to bring him in. This guy, Andre Silva, he's a Brazilian. He will join us next summer, so no need to go into that right now. This guy, if we sign him, and he agreed to the contract, so I'm guessing that he'll be here. This is going to be the one and only absolute star signing of the summer. I mean, I can play him on either wing or as a striker. I don't even care where I have to put him into my system. If you look at the scout report, currently operating at second league level, which is our league +1, has the potential to be a Premier League player. Look at all the stars. I mean, good stuff, good stuff. Those are 2 staff members that are also coming in, head of sports science and a sport scientist. Let's have a look at our transfer history now, because those are the players that I already signed to the club. First of all, Marcio Ortiz, free transfer, and if you ask me, this was my first guy that I brought in. I started with a bang. 20-year-old Argentinian, left winger, inside forward, what I love to use in my systems. I mean, 3.5 star current ability, 4.5 star potential ability. Yes, please. The left wing was really a position that we needed to strengthen. Then the next one, Diga, our first loanee, comes in from Firenze, I think that is. A right wing back. I thought he was going to be better, I'm going to be honest. So 2.5 star current ability, 5 star potential ability, but he is a loanee, so I don't know what this will do for us, but a little more depth at right back. Next one on the list, Gonzalo Lorero, center back. Same story as the last one. I thought he was going to be better, but he's only 19 and he has a potential ability of 5 stars possibly. So, young center back, just a central defender, can play as a ball playing defender, which I love to use. Good stuff. Next one on the list, Eros Medaglia, and this is one of our absolute steals, I would say. This is our starting right back for the coming season. He can play as a wing back, which I use. He's 24, he's Argentinian, and I think he has a 4-star potential ability already at 3.5 stars. This is one of the major signings of this summer. Next on the list, our second loanee, Pedro Paz, Angolan striker, advanced forward, what I love to use. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. We have better strikers by now at the club, so I'm not sure how much he is going to play. But hey. Then we have a couple of free transfers coming up, the first of which is Nicholas Dillon, 22-year-old Trinbagonian striker, fully natural advanced forward. He is quite as good as the last guy, so they'll probably divide duties as our backup striker. Victor Cordoba, also I think a very good signing. He's a little older than the guys that I usually sign, but I mean, look at this. He is a Mazzala and box-to-box midfielder, and he can play in a defensive midfielder role as a deep-lying playmaker. So a lot of those positions I tend to use in the midfield. He is an experienced midfielder, which is always good to have around. He comes in he was a free transfer, but as you can see, he is quite the journeyman himself. So, regular starter, I think so. Then we have Jean Sinistera. He is Colombian. He sounds French, but he's Colombian. 19 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. Also can play in a lot of roles, both in the defensive midfielder position, and he is a perfectly natural box-to-box midfielder in the MC position. Good stuff. Then another loanee, and this is a very good, and he's a ball-playing defender. He comes in from Lazio, I think our biggest club we pronounce in this series so far. 20 years old, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, comes in on loan. He's already valued at £300,000, so this guy will do some good for us. And the last one, also one of my star signings, although you might argue, I know we needed a left wing back. He is a natural wing back, that's good. He is Portuguese, he's 21, that's always good. But he has only a 2.5-star current ability. The main reason why I signed him is because of this. He has a possible 5-star potential ability, so he will probably be my starting left back for this season at least. Now, as a conclusion for this episode, let's just have another look at the squad depth screen. As you can see, in most positions, we are now fully staffed. I mean, even in the defensive positions. The wingback I explained to you, so Jorginho is going to be our starting wingback. The right wingback is going to be Medaglia, obviously. And in the center, we always have some options. Maybe I could do with 1, 3 or 4-star more, but I'll have a look at that. At goalkeeper, like I said, there is one who might come in who's a little bit better than Suarez. We'll see. The striker duties, this guy, maybe he's on trial now. He is a Brazilian 17-year-old. I'm just waiting till I get the full overview of his current and his potential ability. Maybe I will sign him as well, just to have a lot of depth at striker, because a lot of these players can also play on the wings. So now, as a final thing in this episode, let's just have a quick look where the media predicts us to end for the first season. And wow, that's pretty high. So that means, because these are all the teams in all 4 groups, this means they probably see us in the semi-final, which is nice and which I hope ticks the club vision requirement of challenge for the PT Championship. So the cup, we'll see about that. I usually don't care much for cups, but if the board wants, the board gets. So guys, that was all for this episode. I know I didn't show you any games yet, but I promise, starting next time, I will show you 2 games each episode with some in-betweeny stuff to keep you all entertained. Now, if you've enjoyed this, please leave me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more content. Let me know in the comment section what you think, or if you have any suggestions, let them come. Use the social media links in the description to connect with me, and I will see you very soon.